Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you a super cool looking card trick, and this is what it looks like. So over here, we have a normal deck of cards that we can give a little shuffle, just like this, and you guys can see here that there is no particular order to the deck or anything like that. So first things first, we need a card selected. So let's go ahead and have the spectator just reach in. They can just literally pull out any card they like. Let's say this one over here. So please go ahead, remember this card the best that you can. We'll just go ahead and kind of push that all the way in there. Give it a little shuffle. So yeah, you guys can agree there's no way I could know what your card is or where it is in the pack. It's completely shuffled. And to further lose your card, I would actually ask if you wanted to shuffle, spectator. So they say yes, okay, great. So you can go ahead and you can shuffle the cards. And as you're doing that, I'm just gonna get a little piece of paper. It's kind of stuck in my pocket. Here it is. It's a little piece of paper with some writing on it. And I actually don't want to show you what it says quite yet. So I'm just gonna leave it off to the side there for now. I can even have you hold on to it. But in the meantime, the spectator is just going to shuffle the cards to further lose their card in the deck. So once they're satisfied, they can hand the cards back over to me. And I say perfect. So what's gonna happen next is I'm just gonna be dealing the cards out face up into some piles here on the table. And all I want you to do is just be aware of where your card is in the deck. But don't say anything, because I don't want to know what your card is, obviously. So just keep it to yourself when you see your card. So don't react at all, all right? So I'll just deal through the cards here. Just a couple of piles. I'm just going to try and get a sense of what your card is. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I'll do some piles over here as well. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've dealt out some piles here, about seven piles on the table. And all you have to do for this next part to work, since I don't know what your card is, I just want you to tell me which pile your card is in, and then we'll move on from there, okay? So go ahead, tell me which pile is it in. Yeah, right, it's not in the deck, okay. I've had my fair share of hecklers before. Trust me, that's an old one. No, seriously though, where is it? What? You're not kidding? You actually didn't see your card in the deck. Okay, that should not happen. That's really weird. So I guess we'll just double check. So just make sure. Here? No? Okay. Here? No? Okay, interesting. No, none of those. These last three, no, those weren't either. Let's see, okay. Maybe it was in one of these first couple of ones here. And this one, no? Okay, let's see. Maybe this one here? No, didn't see it there. What about these? I think these were the first couple. Sometimes people aren't really paying attention on the first couple. No, you don't see your card anywhere here. Okay, but you're sure you picked a card, right? Oh, okay, okay, this is really weird. Okay, you know what? I think we're actually gonna be using this piece of paper over here that I left on the table. And we're actually gonna go ahead and take a look at it. I would actually hand this over to the spectator. I want them to go ahead and open it up themselves, so they can go ahead, open it up. Let's see what it says over here. It says, the closer you look, the less you see. Take a step back. Okay, this is a really weird prediction, but I guess we'll do what it says. So, closer you look, the less you see, take a step back. Okay, let's do it. So I'll actually stand up over here, and I'm going to follow the instructions. Let's see what happens if we take a step back. Hopefully, now you can actually see your card, the 3 of clubs. And yeah, that is the trick right there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right guys, so I really hope you enjoyed that performance, and now let's get straight into the tutorial for how it's done. Before I get into the tutorial, I just want to mention how I sort of came across this trick and what I did to refine it to my own personal liking. I believe this was one of the first tricks I learned when I was starting out. I think I might have seen it from Miss Mag 822 or some other YouTube channel, but I saw this trick. I believe it was with the 4 of hearts was the card you secretly take out of the deck, or it's not in the deck or something like that. And then what you do is you say, watch, I'm gonna deal out the cards like this. And what you do is you just deal out the cards into the shape of like a 4, like the number 4, like this. So you can see a 4 right there, and then you would do H like this. So you do like this, and then like this, something like that. And it would be 4H. Like that, and you tell the spectator take a step back and take a look, and now you'll be able to see your card, and then they'll be able to see the shape of their card. And I always loved that idea. I think that's just a genius idea. It's a really cool reveal that you never really would expect as a spectator if you're watching a card trick, because you're always expecting the magician to pull out the card in a really cool way, but you're never expecting for the cards to sort of like spell your card, which is just, it's a really interesting concept that I love. So what I did was I just tried many different combinations with many different cards, and I just wanted to find which card made the most sense for me to set up in front of the spectator's eyes, and that way they won't really be able to see it. And the card that I found was the easiest was the 3 of clubs. So basically this trick is very simple, but still I'm going to do a little bit more of an in-depth look at this tutorial because I want to explain the reasons for why I chose the 3 of clubs and why it makes sense to sort of spell it out the way that I did, the reasons why it's justified and everything like that, and why it makes it so easy. But theoretically, you guys can play around with this trick and you really can choose any card to spell out onto the table. You don't have to make it the 3 of clubs, but it's just, in my case, I found that the 3 of clubs just makes the most sense to spell out with the cards. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So all you're gonna need to do is choose a card to force. In this case, I'm gonna be teaching the 3 of clubs. So take the 3 of clubs, place it on the top of the deck, and you're ready to go. And also you have a piece of paper with your instructions. This will be inside of your pocket in the beginning of the trick. To start out, you can give the card some shuffles, and now you're just going to force this card any way you like. There's many different ways to force a card. In the performance, I just did like a mock classic force. So you would hold a break in the middle, spread through the cards, you have the spectator touch a card, and you just sort of time the spread so that when they reach out, they'll be able to touch the card, the 3 of clubs. Obviously that's a little bit more advanced, so if you don't want to do that, there's many different ways. There's riffle force, you can just hold a break, tell the spectator to say stop. When they say stop, you're just going to let go with the thumb and lift up the cards from your pinky break, which is going to be exactly at your card, 3 of clubs. So if you don't know how to force a card, there's many different ways to do this. Just find your favorite way and use that in this trick. So once the spectator has the 3 of clubs, you do not want to see this card. So make sure you turn away. Even though you know it's already the 3 of clubs, you don't want the spectator to think that you're peeking at it. So make sure you look away. And now you're gonna have them place it back anywhere, and you're just gonna give the cards a quick little overhand shuffle. And when you're done, all you're gonna do is spread through the cards to yourself, and you're just gonna find the 3 of clubs. And once you find it, you're just gonna split the cards at the point where the 3 of clubs is. And now you can bring your hands back down, and you're gonna do this little move to show that the card is just somewhere lost in the deck. It's just somewhere random in the middle. Flip your wrist like this, and then you're just gonna move this packet to the bottom here, which will then place their card to the top of the deck. So wherever their card is, let's just pretend it was here, you would split your hands, go like this, and then move it to the bottom. So that would move the 3 of clubs to the top. And now you can give it another little shuffle. And once you do that, you're gonna ask the spectator if they want to shuffle the cards as well. And now you're gonna be in the position for a one-handed top palm. So this is my way of doing it. I like to place my thumb a lot deeper than usual. A lot of people do it like this, but I just find that a lot harder for me for some reason. So I like to put my thumb a lot deeper. That's a lot easier for me to do the top palm. I use my pinky here to push the card up like this, and then it will go sort of flush into my palm like this. If you guys want to see an in-depth tutorial on that move, I actually have a video for it right over here. So go ahead and check that out if you guys are struggling doing this move over here. Once you learn it, it's pretty simple. So this is the move right here. The misdirection for this is you ask the spectator, do you want to shuffle the cards? When you ask that question, that's when you sort of push the card up like this. And now they're going to say yes, because who doesn't want to shuffle cards? And now you're going to take the cards, you're just going to drop the deck in their hand. They're going to take it. You're going to come away with the 3 of clubs. All you're gonna do now is take the 3 of clubs in your hand, and you're gonna be reaching inside of your pocket, the same pocket with the piece of paper. And all you're gonna do is you are actually just going to drop this card inside of your pocket, and you're gonna leave it there for the rest of the trick. So this card, you're just gonna drop it off in your pocket and leave it there forever. And then reach in and pull out the paper. But that, of course, should all be done in one move. You don't want to drop the card, come back out, and then pull out the paper. You just want to take the card, drop it in, and then instantly pull out the piece of paper. So all it looks like to the spectator, it just looks like you're giving them the deck and you pull out this piece of paper from your pocket. That's what it should look like. So now you tell them this is a little piece of paper with some writing on it, but you don't want them to look quite yet, so you'll just set it off to the side. So now the cards can really be shuffled because the 3 of clubs is truly gone. It's actually in your pocket right now, so these cards really don't matter. So now this is the next part of the trick, and this is how I like to set up for the 3 of clubs to be spelled out by the cards. So this is how I like to do it. So the first step, I'm actually going to deal the cards out to my right over here, and that will make it easier for me to spread the cards out later, because this is actually going to be starting out for the number 3. This is how I'm going to start spelling the number 3. So I'm just going to start dealing cards down like this, and I'm going to deal about 10 cards per pile. You don't really need to count, but just estimate about 10, and then just do like another 10 here. And you don't want them to be exactly next to each other. You kind of want them to be spread out a little bit, because you want this space here in between them. That's very important. If you don't have this, then it's not really going to register as a 3. So make sure there's some space. But in this case, since I don't have any room because of this table is so small, I'm just going to push them together. But what you guys would want to do, you guys would want to make sure there's some space between the piles. Just deal out a couple cards like this, and once you have about half of the deck left, all I do is I spread out the cards, and I'm actually just going to get a break right on top of the bottom 3 cards. So I'm just going to stop there and then hold a pinky break right above the bottom 3 cards. I'll get into why I do this a little bit later. What you're going to do now is you're going to deal out 3 additional piles, and you're going to stop right as you reach your break. So I'm going to deal out some more cards, maybe like 7 cards in each pile. It doesn't really matter exactly how many. Just deal out a couple cards per pile. I'm getting really close to my break, so now I'm just going to deal out 1 more pile like this. I'll just put it over here. And now when I reach my break right here, now I only have 3 cards left, and I just want to make sure I put these 3 cards in a separate pile like this. 1, 2, 3. Because these last 3 cards, I'm actually going to do something secret with them with the 3 over here, which I'll explain in a minute. Now at this point, you're just going to act like nothing is wrong, and you're just going to say, so for this next part to work, all you need to do is tell me which pile your card is in. And they're going to say, it's not in the deck. And now you can joke around, say, wait, really? It's not in the deck? Oh, are you sure you picked a card? And now you're just going to be double checking to see if the card really is still here. And this is how you're essentially setting up the shape pattern for the 3 of clubs. So what I do is I pick up the last pile with the 3 cards, and I'm just going to be holding this in my left hand. I can even show these cards first. It's not here? No? Okay, so now I just hold it in this hand. I take one of these piles on the left side, and I spread it out here, and they say no. And what I do is I put it down horizontally like this. So I actually put it down in this position over here. And then what I do is I pick up the next one to the left, and they say no. And then you're gonna place it down diagonally like this. This is gonna be setting up for the club's shape. So set it down like this. Then I spread out the next one, they say no. And I'm gonna set this up the other diagonal direction like this. So basically, this is the base of the club, and these are going to be the 2 points of the club. The last club is going to be pointing up like this, but you're going to set that down later. First, you're going to be spreading out these 3 piles over here. So first, you're going to spread these cards out from right to left on the table like this. Do they see the card here? They're going to say no. I'm just trying to fit this on the camera the best I can. You're going to spread out the next one. They say no. And then you're going to spread out the final one, and they will say no. So now you're still holding these last 3 cards here, and now this is the position that you're in. So you're almost done. The card is basically entirely spelled out, but they're never going to see it because they don't see a 3 or a club yet. All they see is just random piles and spreads of cards. But these last 3 cards here are the key to spelling the card. So all you're going to do first is you're going to get a break on the bottom card. And what I'm going to do is point to the prediction and ask them to open it up. So I'm going to point to the prediction, and as I point to it, drop off this thumb break at the exact point between these 2 piles over here, like this. So essentially, this card is going to connect these 2, and it's going to be the line that makes the 3. And then what I can do, since there's only 2 cards here, I don't really need to get another thumb break. It's kind of unnecessary. I can just feel it drop instantly. So as I'm still pointing to the prediction, I'll just move down with my hand, drop that down like this. So there you go. Now the 3 is complete. And remember, it has to be backwards in your perspective because the spectator is looking at it from this way. So if I was going to turn the camera around, obviously like you saw in the performance, it would look like a 3, but to you it's going to look like an E. And the last card, all you have to do is just place it down onto the table, and this is going to be the last point of the club. shape. So this is the base, these are the 3 points of the club right here. So now you have actually spelled out 3 of clubs. And that really is the end of the trick right there. So now you tell the spectator to open this up, and they're not gonna notice it says 3 of clubs. They just see a bunch of cards. They're really not gonna see this shape yet. But then they're gonna open this up and they're gonna read it. The closer you look, the less you see. Take a step back. They'll take a step back, and they might not realize it at first, but then what you can do, if they don't see it, draw it out with your finger and say, look, is this your card? The 3 of clubs, and then they'll see it and they'll freak out. And yeah, that is the trick right there. So one question would be, so what do you do with their card? It's just going to be sitting in your pocket the whole time. And yes, it really can just be in your pocket. You don't really need to have an extra reveal of the card. Like, you don't need to produce it out of thin air or anything like that. I mean, you can, but it kind of takes away from this part of the trick, because this spelling out part is really, really cool, and it's really surprising to the spectator. So I think it would just be a good idea to pack up the cards, and you can just put them all away in your pocket, and then that would be able to load the 3 of clubs back in the deck. But you really don't need to have an extra reveal of their actual card in your pocket, and it's not really necessary for this trick. But yeah, that's really it, guys. So I really hope you guys like this one. It's a very easy trick. You can perform it right away, and I really hope you guys get some great reactions with this. So let me know how it goes in the comments below, and yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.